This is Squawk Pod from CNBC. We're bringing you the best of Squawk in Paris for the 2024 Olympics. On this episode, the premium sponsors of the entire Games, LVMH. A rare interview with LVMH Chairman and CEO Bernard Arnault in a rarely visited place.
We are in Mr. Dior's first drawing room, where he started in 1947, his first show.
How LVMH spent the $160 million and then some that it poured into the Olympics sponsorship.
We wanted to find a way to show through the Olympics to the world that France as itself is a creative country, is a refined country, is a craftsmanship country.
And the state of luxury, even while some demand might be slipping.
I have seen many crises, many crises. It's up and downs, but the global trend is still steady, and I think it will continue.
What Arnault loves most about his job and his many, many high-end brands.
Every morning when I arrive in my office, I have fun. So I want to continue to have fun. The fun part is to be able to work with creators and to see how this creation can be sold all over the planet.
Plus, what's Elon Musk got to do with any of this?
Maybe with a way to put Vuitton in a rocket. I don't know if we go somewhere.
I'm CNBC producer Cameron Costa, podcasting from New York, and our Squawk Pod from the Olympics begins right after this. You're listening to Squawk Pod from CNBC. Our anchors Joe Kernan, Becky Quick, and Andrew Ross Sorkin were in Paris this week for the 2024 Olympic Games. While there, the team sat down with Olympians and CEOs and investors. They even tried their hand at fencing with the help of Olympians as coaches. You can hear those conversations on your Squawk Pod feed. We've been churning out Olympics episodes all week. While there, the press, the athletes, the fans, everyone is surrounded by luxury provided by LVMH. LVMH is the high-end fashion and retail conglomerate that's the premium sponsor of the Olympics this year, and it is the first time that a luxury brand has ever sponsored the Games. Everything is LVMH. The medals were made by Chaumet, stored in Louis Vuitton trunks. The opening ceremony uniforms worn by Team France were designed by LVMH fashion house Berluti. The champagne served inside the stadiums, it's all LVMH. The company poured over $160 million into the Olympic sponsorship. Now, right before the opening ceremonies, Andrew sat down for a very special, very rare interview in a very special, rarely seen place. LVMH Chairman and CEO Bernard Arnault brought Andrew into the private, original salon of Christian Dior in what is now the Dior flagship store in Paris.
So before we begin, though, this is a very special place that we're sitting in right now.
Yes, yes.
I don't believe there have ever been cameras in here before.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We are in Mr. Dior's first drawing room, where he started in 1947, his first show. It's where he invented the new look. And with Carmel Snow, the famous US writer for Vogue, I think. And it's here that started the whole story of Christian Dior for his fashion company. And when I bought Dior a few years later, because Mr. Dior started in 47 and he died in 57, so he became the most well-known designer on the planet in only 10 years. It's without internet, without anything. He had the cover of every magazine. I remember the Time cover. It's a great success, immediate success. And he started here, where we are. This is, by the way, his desk. That's the desk of Mr. Dior. He was drawing on this desk.
Wow.
And what we try to do is to rearrange this room according with his taste. And we try to buy back some things he had himself, like some nice paintings, nice furniture, and to reserve this for our best partners or customers. And we may have lunch in the other part of the room. And it's full of history.
One of the main reasons we are here is because the Olympics are going to begin here in Paris, and you are a major sponsor of this. How did that come about, and what does the Olympics mean to you?
First, we have been always close to sport, because sport has values that we share in the group with my family and with many of our designers, and we have been very close to sport in general. And when we were asked about participating and helping to finance the Olympics, first we reflected, because it was a huge amount, said, on one end, it's France. We are part of the French industry, the French culture. And so we said, as we are the #1 French company, we cannot avoid helping that. But it has to have a sense. We are just not going to give money, say, okay, you thank us, but that's it. We wanted to find a way to show through the Olympics to the world that France as itself is a creative country, is a refined country, is a craftsmanship country. It's why we tried, before agreeing for doing this, we tried to find a way with the Olympic Committee to find a way to be able to show maybe something that have never been done before with the Olympics, which is part of the spirit of a country that we show. And it's the reason why you will see some of our creation, like the medals, like the trunk that brings the flame, that the plateau that we will use, the Olympic organization will use to give, to present the medals to the winners, like in tonight's opening ceremony, you will see very beautiful dresses done by Dior and other houses. And this is a combination. It's, I think, a fantastic way to show that France is special. And not only we are doing this craftsmanship, evocation, this creativity presence, but also it shows that investors can go to France. It's a goal of the meeting I'm going after this one with the French president, to show that, okay, France, you have wine, you have champagne, you have cognac, you have the most beautiful dresses. Christian Dior is still the most well-known name, French name in the world, but we are also attracting modernity, we are attracting the best worldwide company. I think for lunch with the president, I should be next to my friend Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yes.
So you're going to be sitting with Elon later today?
Yeah, yeah. I have been told that we will sit together at the official table with the president.
You've met him before?
Yes, I know him, yes. I know him for some time. Yeah.
What do you guys talk about?
You know, I admire very much what he's doing, because I think he's a genius. To do such a success with a car company was quite unexpected. But he is a genius, and doing also, being so successful with his rockets also is incredible. And so we talked about our different businesses. I know also his mother, who is interested in fashion. And last time we discussed about one idea, which is a rocket, maybe with a way to put Vuitton in a rocket. I don't know if we go somewhere.
A Vuitton rocket. Now, would you clad the outside of the rocket with the Vuitton?
Maybe the inside. I don't know. We have to think. He did not say no.
Right.
So.
By the way, are there other?
But I'm afraid he will ask me to go with him in the rocket.
Would you go on the rocket?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No.
By the way, many years ago, I remember reading that Steve Jobs had come to you and asked you about how to create those Apple stores and go into retail.
Yes.
Did you think that was going to work?
Yeah, I remember when we discussed this, and he was thinking of doing, to start the Apple store. And he asked me, what do you think? I told him, because we were not competitors, if you want to do something like that, which I think may be successful, you should put the first store in the best location. And maybe I will give you some ideas where you can follow Vuitton. And he was quite interested. I think he listened. And one of the first one he did, I remember, was in Tokyo, just in front of our shop on Ginza. And it proved to be a fantastic success. When, at the time, many of his competitors, I remember Dell, for instance, saying, it will never work, this direct shops.
Michael Dell was saying it would never work to do retail, right?
Yes, he said that. And on the contrary, it's a big success. It's, I think, one of the reasons of the the gigantic success of Apple. And we discuss also business in general. He was very smart, obviously, and very creative also. But he told me, I like your products, and you have an advantage on me. I say, well, which one? I don't know if my iPod will still be successful in 10 years. But what I know is your Dom Perignon right. will be sold in a century. So it's a difference. It's a longevity.
Right.
It's a difference also between some tech companies, which I admire because I love tech, and what we do. Our products are here, not for the eternity, but for a very long time.
I want to go back to the Olympics for just a moment.
Oh, yes, okay.
The connection between luxury and sport, but also luxury in the mainstream. Mm-hmm. How do you think about that in the context of all of these brands and showing them off during the Olympics?
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's not mainly to show the brands. It's to show the spirit of our group and the spirit of the country. It's sport mentality is very close to mentality we try to create and to grow in our group. We try to elevate, we try to surpass ourselves, we try to be number one, and that's a very sporty attitude. And in the meantime, we try to have good relationship with the competitors, even if we are number one. And also it shows that France is at the center of all this. And our group is French, is very French, and we show the power of this country in the world. Right. I think it's a goal.
What do you think of just the challenges of the luxury business right now? Mm-hmm. And I was noting that one of the things that people have talked about, or that LVMH talked about, was just the geopolitical uncertainty. You're talking about France, the U.S., China.
That's true. We are in a period where there is a lot of uncertainty on geopolitical grounds in the world, with some wars, some economic problems with inflation, with interest rates, and so on. But I am still quite optimistic long term, because the reason why we have been successful, and many of our competitors of high quality were successful during the last 30 years, is the growth in buying power in the world. And that trend, mid-term, will continue with up and downs. We have seen up and downs since I am in business, since 1984. I have seen many crises, many crises. It's up and downs, but the global trend is still steady, and I think it will continue.
When people say that the stakes are even higher than ever today, or that there's even more uncertainty today, do you believe that?
People very often regret the past, and I tend to think to the future. So you should take information, you should take lessons from the past, but they not always apply to the future. So what will happen, for instance, to the relationship between the US and China, which is a big concern. We hope that a solution will be found to live in peace and to cooperate, even with the differentiation of culture, of policy, and so on. And I think the people in both countries, they want to see their welfare go up. And it cannot be with too stiff competition. We should find a way of finding a good solution to live in peace, as it has been for the last 40 years.
Do you feel confident about that? You feel optimistic, though?
I think, yeah. I don't think we will enter an era of big wars, like some people are predicting a new world war in the next few years because of what happened in Ukraine. I don't believe this. I think at the end, people are wise enough to avoid it, and we will see.
You have done so much in your career, and you have acquired all sorts of businesses. What more do you want to do?
You know, in doing what I do for a long time now, every morning when I arrive in my office, I have fun. So I want to continue to have fun.
What's the most fun part for you?
That's very simple. The fun part is to be able to work with creators, whether it is designer, fashion designer, whether it is creators of big innovation in terms of tech also, and to see how this creation can be sold all over the planet. And because it's a mix between the high power of creativity, which is often completely disorganized, and the capacity you may have to organize very well the process of selling these products that people want all over the planet.
What is it that you think that you have done to consistently recreate brands, often taking brands that may even feel tired and finding ways to remake them? What is that? What is that you have managed to figure out?
I think it's a combination between the products, the image, and the people. And it's really a very delicate combination for the success of which you have to be patient. It cannot be done overnight. And when you have for a brand, like for instance Louis Vuitton or Christian Dior, you should stick to it. Whatever happens, you stick to it. And the goal is not, it's what I say to my people, to make money.
It's not to make money?
No. The goal is to increase and continue the desirability of what you do long term. That's the goal. And I say all the time to my teams, don't think of money. The profitability is a consequence of the desirability that you create, that we create together, of your brand.
Right. How much do you worry or get concerned when there's certain things going on in the marketplace? So you have, the Chinese market is a challenged market, in part because they're going to buy things in Japan, with the yen so low, or people buying champagne. I mean, how much is the profit piece of this matter to you?
It may have an impact on the profitability of 1 year, which is the case, for instance, this year. But it does not matter, because if you are too much on the money side, what are you going to do? I'll say, okay, sales are not going as fast, so we will lower prices, we will lower quality, and instantly, I know what we could do to, instead of having around flat sales for the first semester, we could have had 20% growth. It's quite easy.
Quite easy how?
Quite easy. How? In reducing some prices, in doing things, too many shops, going to discount shops, which some competitors are doing, by the way. But long term, it's a disaster. So, no, we never do that. Or selling your perfume in, for instance, in Asia. You can sell much more. If you discount the price and you sell in duty-free, which duty-free immediately sent back to China at discounted prices. But it's for the image of the brand, for the long term, you should, what I say to my team, we stick to quality. We continue to invest in communication and image, and we are not going to modify our price policy, because our products are desirable, and what you should be motivated to do is to continue and eventually increase the desirability.
You've made so many acquisitions over the years.
Yeah.
Is there anything out there, just even conceptually, that you say, those guys are clever, I really admire what they're doing, and at some point they should be part of this family?
Yes, I admire some of my competitors, absolutely.
So who do you like?
Some are doing very well, but I will not give you names because it will trigger a lot of problems. So, no, I cannot tell you.
Can I ask about Richemont? Because everybody reads these headlines about you buying a stake in Richemont.
Yeah.
What's the long-term ambition there?
I know well the owner, Mr. Johan Rupert, of Richemont. And we have a good relationship. And I told him that I will never do anything against him. Right. That's clear. And if I bought some shares, it's just my portfolio manager who bought some shares, but it's a very minor stake. And I am very happy. I think he has done something fantastic with Richemont, with Cartier, with Van Cleef. And I think he is independent. He wants to stay independent, and I agree completely on that.
Right. Question about you as an entrepreneur. You have a reputation for the details. When you walk through the stores on a Saturday morning, looking at the shoes, touching the goods. Yes. Is that something you think you were born with? Or do you think that's something that can be learned?
Both. I think I was born with that. Because when I was a kid, my grandfather and my father, they were entrepreneurs. They were builders. So I remember every week going with them on the plants they were building, and looking with them at the detail of what they were doing. And now I go to my shops, see the products, see the teams, and I like it a lot. Right? And I try to bring my kids with me.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to ask you a succession question or a classic succession question, but I will ask you this. What are you trying to teach your kids when you think about potentially one of them ultimately taking over? What are the things that you want them to learn?
First, I must say, I think I was successful to learn them to like working, which is not what all of my friends, some with also big companies and some money, do. And I am very proud of that, because not only they now work with me, but when they were young, I told them, if you want to be successful in life, you have to start with good learning curve, and you should attend the best schools. What they did. And you know, for instance, in France, we have what we call grandes écoles, very big schools, which are quite difficult to enter because it's a competition. And instead of going in parties or in nightclubs, like some do, I'm not saying they don't do that, they do that, but they were working. And now, what I think it's Albert Einstein who said that a genius is 5% of high intelligence and 95% of work. And I agree with this.
One of the things I was going to ask you that relates to that, though, as a father, is it hard to even have to think about this issue?
No, I like to work with them. It's fun, right. You know, and when I try, I teach them a lot of things. I think they try to be part of the culture. You know, more globally, what I say also to the group, it is not a normal Société Anonyme. It's a family company. Right. Not only because I control it with my family, with my kids, but also it's a spirit. So when you enter, and it's why we retain people very long. When you enter LVMH, you don't enter an anonymous company, you enter a family. So you become a member of the family. And it's why the best designers, we retain them, but for many years. You know, you see some designer going from one place to another, but we keep them for a long time. Nicolas Ghesquière at Louis Vuitton, Maria Grazia at Dior, and Jonathan Anderson at Loewe, Eddie Slimane, we worked with him for a very long time. All these designers, we keep them. And it's like a family. It's a spirit we try to put. Not only in the real family, but in the company family.
Talking about the spirit, about the Olympics, what are you looking forward to going to see? Is there a sport you want to go watch?
I will watch the most, I think, watch event like the 100-meter run, some of the swimming competition, especially with the sportif we work with, and I will look at golf, at tennis. I hope Nadal is playing, so I hope he will be successful. And you know that Carlos Alcaraz also is a Vuitton tennisman. So I have many competitions to watch.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it. This was stupendous. We touched on a lot of things. Thank you so much.
That's it. Keep checking your Squawk Pod feed for more from the Olympics, like Martha Stewart.
Snoop, always outdresses me. I can't keep up with his uniforms. He's amazing.
Her outfitter and the outfitter for Team USA. It's Ralph Lauren's CEO, Patrice Louvet.
The French culture and the Parisian lifestyle has influenced Ralph, but in terms of how you say it, it's Ralph Lauren.
Our TV show Squawk Box is hosted by Joe Kernan, Becky Quick, and Andrew Ross Sorkin. Weekday mornings on CNBC at 6 Eastern. You can catch the highlights like those 2 interviews I just mentioned on this podcast as long as you follow wherever you're listening now. Stay tuned.
We are clear. Thanks, guys.